Antarctica's Hidden File. Case 002. A story of walls, watchers, and worlds they never wanted you to see. Have you ever wondered if the world you inhabit, the history you've been taught, is merely a carefully constructed illusion? What if the very edge of our known map, the icy expanse of Antarctica, holds not just frozen secrets, but the undeniable proof of civilizations lost, technology suppressed, and a war for human destiny that has raged for millennia? Imagine a vast, impenetrable ice wall, not just a continent's edge, but a barrier protecting, or perhaps imprisoning, humanity. We're told it's just the South Pole, but ancient maps, some impossibly accurate, show landmasses beyond this icy curtain. And then, there are the whispers. Whispers of secret expeditions, of military incursions, and of strange craft seen streaking across the Antarctic skies. This isn't just speculation. This is a case file, a collection of fragmented truths, forgotten testimonies, and suppressed discoveries that paint a picture far stranger than any fiction. And it all begins with a daring voyage, a defiance of the known world that forced humanity to confront its hidden origins. This is the mystery of the ice wall. This is the untold story of Antarctica, the ancient cartographer's secret. For centuries, our history books presented Antarctica as a blank canvas, an uninhabitable wasteland. But look closely at the Orontius Phineas map from 1531, or the even older Piri Reis map of 1513. What do you see? Detailed coastlines, rivers flowing freely, lands without ice. These aren't crude drawings, they are precision charts, depicting an Antarctica free of its frozen shroud, long before its official discovery in the 19th century. How is this possible? Was there a time when Antarctica was a fertile paradise? And if so, who charted it? Who lived there? These are the questions that mainstream history shies away from, because the implications are staggering. Now imagine a bold mariner, a man well called William, driven by an almost obsessive curiosity. It was the late 1700s, a time when the world was supposedly mapped. But William heard stories, whispers from a seasoned captain, a man named Butler, about lands beyond the polar circle. Not just theory. Butler claimed to have seen maps, ancient, forbidden maps, showing a passage, a gateway through the impenetrable ice. This wasn't a quest for fame. This was a deep primal pull towards the unknown, a feeling that something monumental lay hidden, just out of reach. What if this feeling, this urge to seek beyond the accepted narrative, is encoded in your very being? What if it's an echo from a time when your ancestors knew more? William, against all logic, against the warnings of his peers, decided to embark on a journey that would defy every geographical truth of his era. He bought a ship, gathered a reluctant crew, and convinced Butler, a man now bearing an unsettling intensity, to join him. But just as their departure neared, a chilling encounter unveiled the true nature of their quest. The Custodians Decree. A mysterious figure, Fint, accompanied by an ominous stranger, delivered a cryptic message. An ancient manuscript, brittle with age, spoke of custodians, self-proclaimed sun gods who would close the doors of knowledge. This wasn't a warning about icebergs. This was a threat, a chilling decree stating that no one was to leave these lands without their permission. The air thickened. William, who had prepared for the wrath of nature, now faced an invisible, powerful adversary. Who were these custodians? What did they guard? And why did they fear what lay beyond the ice wall? The encounter was a stark reminder. This wasn't merely an exploration. This was an infiltration, a challenge to an ancient, hidden authority. And Butler, the enigmatic captain, revealed a truth that shattered William's worldview. The custodians, he explained, were the ancient ones, the architects of pyramids, a force that had shaped humanity's past in ways we cannot comprehend. They desired no intruders. Their silence was a weapon, their control absolute. And the journey William had planned? It was now a race against time, a desperate bid to pierce a veil that had concealed a vast, forgotten history, the very history that might define your own existence. The ship, aptly named The Secret, sailed south. Days turned into weeks, then months. As the climate grew harsher, the waters darker, towering icebergs like silent sentinels, loomed in the mist. Then, they saw it. A colossal wall of ice, stretching impossibly high, radiating an unnatural warmth. It shimmered with an eerie glow, as if an unseen fire burned within its core. This wasn't a natural formation. This was something else entirely, something designed, engineered. Then, just as despair began to set in, a passage opened. A narrow, almost invisible path, cutting through the colossal ice wall. An invisible current seized the secret, pulling it forward. Fear, raw and primal, gripped the crew. But then, silence. Calm. The passage widened, revealing not endless ice, but an open, untouched sea. A vast, luminous expanse of water, bathed in a strange, otherworldly light. They had crossed. They had breached the impossible. The Ancestral Republic. But they were not alone. On the horizon, a colossal craft appeared, dark, reddish, and immense. It bore down on them, a harbinger of either salvation or destruction. A voice, in perfect English, echoed across the water. Visitors from the walled lands, remain calm. 3 figures, clad in white suits with blue emblems, boarded the secret. They knew who William was. They knew where he came from, and they knew the impossible journey he had just completed. Butler, it seemed, had a past connected to this place, a hidden allegiance. The visitors were from the Ancestral Republic, a civilization thriving in these hidden lands, beyond the ice wall. But their message was grim. Your journey, President Fail told William, has complicated things. We are in the midst of an ancient war, a war that defined not just their world, but ours. Fail spoke of resets, cycles of destruction and rebirth. Humanity, he explained, had been rebooted many times, wiped clean, its history erased, its memories stolen. This wasn't just ancient history. This was the history of your ancestors, and your current reality might be just another carefully crafted chapter in this endless cycle. The Custodians, William learned, were the masterminds of these resets. They sought to maintain control, to keep humanity ignorant of its true potential, its vast forgotten past. And William's arrival, the breaching of the ice wall, threatened to expose their carefully guarded secret. Then chaos. The city was attacked. Explosions. Flames. A deep red sky like a wound hung over the devastation. Small silver spheres with red lights, silent observers, hovered above the destruction. This was the ancient war, now brought to their doorstep. William, amidst the horror, saw Butler and Fael, resolute, calling for support from the Anakim. Giant warriors of the South, Butler explained. They are the ones who brought us here before the last reset. William was ushered away, the revelations swirling in his mind. He was no longer just a navigator. He was a witness, a participant in a battle for humanity's very soul. And the world he had left behind, the known lands, was not truly known at all. It was a prison, a construct. The Echoes of Tartary. As William and his remaining crew were evacuated on incredible silent vessels, the Iron Blues, as Butler called them, soaring like silent birds, they traversed tunnels, emerging into a land of lush fields and endless orchards. This was Renasser, a land untouched by the Custodians' poisoned air. Here, Butler revealed, people lived 3 times longer. Here, they were free. The Custodians, he explained, deliberately shortened human lifespans, weakened them, and poisoned their world to prevent them from questioning your own physical and mental limitations. What if they aren't natural, but an inherited legacy of this ancient manipulation? They arrived at the Ark, El Arca, a city of towering glass and steel, bathed in a breathtaking, unfamiliar sunset. Flying transports glided silently. A second, bluish-black sphere hung static in the sky, a strange celestial sentinel. This was a vision of what humanity could be, free from the Custodians' shadow. But the war lingered. The Anakim, William was told, were not just warriors. They were beings who had once united with ancient humans to resist the Custodians. Their alliance had formed what history only vaguely remembers as the Great Tartary, an empire of free energy and advanced technology, a force the Custodians couldn't control. The Anakim, majestic figures standing over 2 meters tall, welcomed them. Shiki, a golden-haired woman, revealed more. The Custodians and Anunnaki are colonizers. William, she explained, her voice grave. They operate by infiltrating worlds, exploiting them. She presented ancient maps, revealing 178 known worlds, interconnected by invisible domes and portals. And beyond all of them, the celestial lands, a realm impervious to the Custodians' power. Here, she explained, resided the source. If this deep dive into hidden worlds and forgotten empires is resonating with something ancient inside you, consider joining our quest for truth. Hit that subscribe button and become part of our growing community of myth dissectors, because the real journey has only just begun. The source, William learned, was a vital energy within each human. It was the Custodians' ultimate prize and their ultimate frustration. They couldn't control it. They couldn't harness the energy that returned to the celestial lands upon human death. So, they resorted to resets, rewriting history, instilling disease, shortening lives, and propagating lies. Humanity became a tool, a resource for their monumental dominance. The Greys and the Martian colonies. The Custodians and Anunnaki, ancient allies, were revealed as the true architects of human suffering. The Anunnaki, constantly warring amongst themselves for control of resources, formed a fragile alliance with the Custodians. This division, Shiki explained, was Tartary's window of opportunity. Giants and human allies, unified, fought back. They toppled Custodian pyramids, symbols of their rule, and developed free energy technology. But the Custodians, masters of manipulation, eventually crushed the rebellion, using environmental warfare, stirring storms and disasters. The Anakim retreated, slipping through passages beyond the ice walls. Some humans followed, escaping to what became the Ancestral Republic. But who were the Custodians' foot soldiers? Who served their will? The Greys, a race from Zeta Reticuli, left as overseers during the Custodians' wars. They were emotionless, efficient, born for servitude. Their home, Orion, a once lush dome, had been colonized by the Anunnaki, turned into a vast, celestial testing ground. Mars, once a spiritual haven, suffered a similar fate. Its proud defenders chose self-annihilation over servitude. It became a staging ground, a chaotic arena where multiple races under strict Custodian and Anunnaki control were forced to fight each other. Your own societal conflicts, your endless wars for resources and territory. What if they are merely echoes of this ancient strategy, designed to keep you distracted, divided, and controlled? Enter Richard Byrd. The name echoes through modern conspiracy circles. Operation High Jump. The U.S. Navy expedition to Antarctica in 1946–47. Officially, it was mapping and research. But Butler and File, the leaders of the Republic, knew the truth. Byrd, under orders from a Custodian leader named Nimrod, was there to confront them. He forged a passage that now bears his name, a passage that represented another incursion into the hidden worlds. Byrd, it was whispered, betrayed the Anakim, selling their secrets for a mission to Mars, a colony of the new humanity, molded by Custodian loyalty. The story of Byrd, not as a heroic explorer, but as a pawn in an interdimensional war, shifts our entire perception of history. The Awakening Strategy. William, now living in the Ancestral Republic, immersed himself in their way of life, a society free from material greed, guided by introspection and spiritual growth, where leaders served out of love, not power. Here, the passage of time itself felt different. He began to understand the true battle was not with weapons but within the human soul. The Custodians had perfected systems to keep humans distracted and disconnected from their true potential. Paper money, national boundaries, even science itself, all twisted into tools to sever humans from their deeper selves, trapping them in a reality defined by materialism, consumption, and obedience. Butler and File, though safe in the Republic, knew they couldn't stand idly by. They devised a new plan. Direct confrontation was impossible. It risked everything. Their strength lay in their spiritual understanding, something the Custodians, for all their intelligence, completely lacked. They fear what they can't control. Butler stated, their vulnerability lay in their spiritual void. The plan was subtle. Infiltrate the known lands, the world beyond the ice wall, through a narrow, overlooked entry, the summer portal. This pathway bypassed the Custodians' sophisticated seismic sensors, which detected any ancestral presence, triggering tremors and immediate military response. Agents would spread information discreetly, whispers of other lands, hints of the Republic, enough to plant doubt, but not enough to trigger alarm. The goal was to awaken minds, one by one, to help humans break free from their mental conditioning, using ancient spiritual techniques, the very methods their ancestors once used. The truths we're uncovering about ancient powers and cosmic conflicts are just the tip of the iceberg. If you're ready to delve deeper into the realms of esoteric knowledge, the hidden wisdom of forgotten ages, and the dark forces that once shaped our reality, then our Demonology and Forbidden Lore playlist is your next destination. You'll find the link in the pinned comment below. Prepare yourself. The summer portal proved an unexpected success. Ancestral teachers, cloaked in anonymity, slipped into the known lands. They taught love, empathy, the true power of the human soul. They ignited sparks. But the Custodians were not idle. They manipulated the teachings, twisted them for greed, distorted the messages. They pushed humanity to create technology beyond its spiritual readiness, leading to endless wars, plagues, and crises, all designed to distract, to control. Expeditions to Antarctica multiplied, funded by leaders with direct ties to Custodian power. Exclusion zones expanded. The truth was buried deeper. The final frontier. Then came the new allies. Various races, sensing the Custodians' growing exhaustion, offered support. Among them, the Pleiadians, a race with advanced technology and profound spiritual wisdom, themselves survivors of Custodian oppression, now sought to free the source and bring down the ancient overlords. Their own system lay close to the mysterious lands beyond the Second Dome, giving them unique insights into Custodian tactics. William, though aging in these timeless lands, felt a familiar weariness creeping in. He had left his homeland, his loved ones, many now long gone, their lives bound by the poisoned air and the manufactured reality of the Custodians. He wondered if he would die here, in this beautiful, distant world. His team, too, had dwindled, succumbing to the lingering effects of the walled lands. But Butler, ever resolute, brought a flicker of hope. "Freedom's closed now," he murmured. "They're scrambling, desperate. A new pandemic is on the horizon, and they're tightening their grip. But we've prepared." Ancestors were now entering the known lands daily, slipping in undetected. They would use the Custodians' own weapons against them, fear. But this time, it would be the fear of awakening. William, his body racked with pain, handed Butler the notes he had meticulously compiled over the years. Pages filled with the incredible places, the hidden landscapes, the glimpses of true happiness and love he had witnessed. "Let these be my words to those within the walls," he whispered. A message of hope for those yearning to know the truth. He looked to the sky, where silver blue ships, the iron blues, cut across the heavens in swift arcs. Is it time to awaken them all? He wondered. Are we ready? A quiet resolve settled within him. The message he would send, pulsing through his mind like a heartbeat, was simple yet profound. These lands exist. We are here, waiting. The battle is real, and it is within you. Resist, seek, and freedom will come. We are waiting to guide you all. The ice wall. It is not just a geographical anomaly. It is a symbol, a metaphor for the invisible barriers constructed around your mind, your history, your potential. The Custodians still thrive on your ignorance, on your unquestioning acceptance of a narrative that binds you. But the whispers are growing louder. The tremors of awakening are shaking the foundations of their control. The question remains, will you choose to see beyond the wall? Will you dare to remember what your ancestors knew? Or will you remain trapped in the grand illusion? The choice, as always, is yours. What truth about yourself, about your own ancestry, do you feel is hidden just beyond the veil of mainstream history? Share your deepest thoughts and the mysteries you believe are yet to be uncovered in the comments below. Let's start a conversation that truly matters.